Welcome to Midichlorian Talk with Tim and Kevin.
Wow, I hate it here. Yikes. It's M count, okay? Okay, Kevin, it's M count.
Oh man, after we watched...
You were the reason why I drink.
I don't feel like I'm the only reason. I might be a reason.
Good Lord.
I'm definitely not the only reason.
Kevin, people are very excited about this episode.
Why?
About us doing this episode.
Why,
That's
though?
all I've heard for the past 2 days.
Will you do it early? Here's the Mandalorian Minute. That's not enough.
Yeah. Everybody wants more, which I love. So, hi, everybody.
Well,
Hey,
they're going to get more, but Ben gave us a list of things to read before the podcast now, so I have to read them and go over everything to make sure that we can pay our employees our bills and keep doing this, right?
Okay. Yes.
Chat, we now have a Patreon. The Patreon's dedicated specifically to supporting Rare Drop Entertainment. It gives us the opportunity to produce shows like Star Wars and Scotch and mess with content like that. You got Broman Podcast. You have all the D&D stuff, which we were discussing the new D&D campaign. Wink today. So it's page. I think the Patreon command worked. Yeah, it works. So you can do the Patreon command in chat, or you go to patreon.com/raredrop if you're listening to this in the future, or if you're on Facebook. So yeah, on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/raredrop and fb.gg/raredropco, you will find the handsome, the meticulous, the bald Professor Broman interviewing someone cool, doing a Q&A, teaching you how to do business or streaming, or maybe we can get him to do acrobatics one week. Who knows? There's only one way to find out. You can check that out. And then Tuesdays and Sundays is Rare Drop Roleplay with your host, Captain Robert, who's your DM on Tuesdays, and then you have the guys from J&J on Sundays, both 7 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you're here on Twitch only. Sorry, Facebook. It's considered gaming, Facebook. And we can't share gaming across lines. So blame Twitch for that.
Sorry.
And as always, go to raredrop.co and check out everything we're working on. And last but not least, kingscoastcoffee.com. You know what today is?
Today's Cyber Monday, Kevin.
Cyber Monday.
That means 15% off the entire store.
Quick, you only have a few more hours. So if you're listening to this in the future, you missed out.
Sorry.
Wait till next year, pay 15% extra. But yeah, kingscoastcoffee.com. Cool. Got all that out of the way. Not that we have to get it out of the way. It helps.
Can we now talk about Star Wars?
It helps do the thing. Yeah, he's very excited about the War of Stars. Go ahead, Tim. You start it. You have so many things you want to talk about. Go for it.
Kevin!
Ahsoka. Yeah, I changed my sign. Did you see the updated sign for this week?
No, what is it?
It says, "Where is Sabine?"
Dude, okay. So there's an answer to that, Kevin.
The article that guy sent us?
Okay, yeah, okay, but
Are you
apparently
buying
that was
that?
taken. It was from an interview from Dave Filoni.
Yeah, but Dave loves to like stir the
I know,
water.
I know he does, but we really don't know the post-credit scene or the post-ending, the whatever you want to call that, whatever
Epilogue.
the epilogue scene, whatever we want to call this. We don't know when that happens. When Ahsoka goes to Lothal to get Sabine, we don't know when. We really don't. We know that Return of the Jedi happens and that they help fight the Empire, but then we don't know when Ahsoka goes to pick up Sabine. We don't know when that is. And it really didn't click with me until after I read that article, and I was like, "Oh shit, you're right. We don't know. It didn't say like 5 years after or 10 years later. It just happened. We knew that it was older because Ahsoka's Togruta head piece growth thing was longer. She looked older. We know time had passed. We didn't know how much time. And so we have to remember Mandalorian 5 years after Death Star 2 went boom. So we don't know if Ahsoka and Sabine went into the chaos before or after. And so this is very interesting to me because the way that Ahsoka is behaving in this episode when she is constantly asking about Morgan's master, we didn't know who it was until the very end when she asks, where is Grand Admiral Thrawn? Which, right off the bat, I almost puked on the treadmill. I was just like, I'm so fucking happy. This is amazing. Someone had asked me the night before. They're like, what are you going to do if they mention Thrawn in this episode? I said, I'm going to puke with happiness because, oh my God.
So, couple things there. I enjoy the theory. Specifically, if you're not following Tim is talking about the end of Star Wars Rebels, the animated series.
Yes.
Where we see an older Ahsoka, an older Sabine, who are going off into the chaos to find Ezra and Thrawn at the conclusion of Rebels. That's what Tim is referring to.
Well, so Rebels had already technically Rebels had already concluded.
Yes, this was years later after the fall of the Empire.
Remember, Rebels takes place before Death Star 1. So this is right after. This is between after Episode 3, in between Rogue One and before Episode 4.
Right. So the assumption here is that, or I should say, the theory here that Tim is describing is that the scene in the episode of The Mandalorian we just saw takes place before the epilogue of Rebels, meaning
that's the
she
theory.
Hasn't embarked on her journey yet with Sabine.
And that's why Sabine isn't there with her. Okay, go for it.
Why did she ask where Grand Admiral Thrawn was if that was the case?
So that's the one thing that I'm playing around with in my head is why is she looking just for Thrawn? And so is she assuming that here's the one thing that's in my head is that maybe because this Morgan person who has Thrawn's insignia on his assassin droids and she is working with him, maybe she assumes that he didn't go with Ezra or he escaped. Those are the only two things, is that she assumes that he either didn't go with him and he went off somewhere else, or two, found out that Thrawn, they already found Ezra and they found out Thrawn escaped and she wanted to make sure, and she still wanted to hunt him down. I don't know. I really don't know. That is the one part in this theory that I don't understand, is why is she looking specifically for Thrawn when Ezra is the one that used the space whales to suck him in through hyperspace? That is the one part that I don't understand.
My thing is it's more likely that they've already had their interaction with Ezra and Thrawn, and now she let Thrawn go or something, and she's out now. She is out looking for Thrawn.
So you assume that she already found Ezra?
I think it's more likely than the prior. I'm not saying what Filoni hinted at is not possible at all, obviously. But the more likely story in my head is that she has already done that and she is now trying to track him down.
That's such a huge... I feel like for Rebels fans and people who love Dave Filoni and they love that part of the universe, I feel like to leave that part out without any type of inclination that it actually happened is a big slap in the face. Like, I feel like that, like, Filoni said that they are alive. He acknowledged that Thrawn and Ezra are alive.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that much. And he says that he wants to continue telling that story. I feel like if Ahsoka went out and found him, you feel like that would be like a really big deal.
Yeah.
I don't think that would something just be like, by the way, found him, looking for Thrawn. And they're like, oh, there's got to be a reason. There has to be a reason why she's hunting Thrawn down.
Well, in the vast world that is Star Wars, I don't think we're meant to know that reason.
Sure, at least
one
not
way
yet.
or another.
Also, the one thing that I want to know
the story hasn't been told,
especially now, after having a better understanding of Thrawn through the books and understanding his overall character and how he presents himself. Thrawn isn't a bad guy. Thrawn understands how to survive, and he understands like how to do that very effectively. But the Chiss ascendancy is always first, no matter what. His loyalty to his house and to the ascendancy as a whole and to the Navy is always number one priority. Even though he swears to the Empire, to the Emperor, that the Empire is always first. Even though he puts the Empire first, it's always for the benefit of the ascendancy.
Thrall, in my opinion, is somewhere between lawful neutral and lawful evil.
No, and so Thrawn, excuse me, Thrawn for me.
Did I say Thrall?
You said Thrall.
Too much Warcraft.
I was
sorry.
I was just gonna keep going. Thrawn for me, I see him as an anti-hero.
Yeah, lawful,
He's a good,
lawful
he's
evil, lawful neutral. He sits somewhere in there.
He's an anti-hero to me. Like he's not a bad guy, but he'll do bad things to get what he needs to get done.
But exactly, and he's done some messed up shit, which puts him into that lawful evil. But he's also lawful neutral. I would never call him lawful good unless I was a Chiss. Then I would say he might fall into lawful good. But yeah, I'm more into the camp of this is after the scene in Rebels, and they've already had their interaction.
That's where my head is. I feel like where we are is it's not too far off from that scene. But the only thing that I can't figure out is that her head, like her all of her pieces and stuff are shorter.
That's a limitation of taking her from animated to live action.
That's what I thought. But like the more I looked at it, I was like, man, she hasn't, like, it feels like we went back in time.
No, unfortunately, they could not pull off the stunts and the movement needed for Rosario Dawson
to have the long pieces.
Yeah, they explained it in detail. The guy's actually going to do a few interviews in the next few weeks talking about it.
Cool.
And when they do the gallery for season 2, he said he'll explain it in full detail as to why they made that choice. They didn't love making that choice, but for Ahsoka to be the Ahsoka we know minus that one detail, they needed to keep them shorter.
Also the other reason why I figured that this was after the meeting with Sabine at the end of Rebels was her cloak that she was wearing.
Yes. Yeah, she is wearing that cloak.
She is wearing the exact same cloak that we see her have on at the end. I think what would have helped us is if we would have seen her ship that she arrived on Corvus with. That would have helped kind of that would help us figure out where in the timeline we were, because the ship that she took off of Lothal with could have matched. If it would have been the same ship, that would have helped me piece that together a little bit more. Yeah, I'm still gonna hold. I know a lot of people have been been tweeting at us these articles and posting them in groups and stuff, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that it's still. I think we are still after that scene. I don't think that we are before it.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be cool if it was before. It'd be so interesting to the.
It would be very interesting because Filoni's quoted it saying like in the Star Wars universe, time is like it's not a linear path.
Especially with the Veil of the Force, we saw that.
Well, sure, but I mean, like in his point is like as a Star Wars fan, you are used to jumping around. Like you watch 4, 5, 6
from a storytelling
he's saying, like,
perspective.
In a storytelling perspective, Star Wars time is not linear the way that it's told, because it's like 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, Rogue One, 7, Solo, 8, 9, and like then Rebels, and then Clone Wars, and then now this with Mando. Like you're all over the place, and it's up to you to piece it all together. So.
Yeah, it was. I said it on Mando Minute, which if you don't know what that is, every Friday Tim and I are up at the ass crack of dawn Eastern time. He goes to the gym and watches it. I literally
at the gym.
I open my eyes, I reach for my remote, and I turn the television on most Fridays, because I don't want to look at my phone and have one of you ruin it for me. So I turn it on immediately when I wake up. And then we talk about it, and then we record about 10 minutes of our initial reaction. So you got 3 more weeks of Mando Minute to enjoy before, I don't know, what are we going to call the Obi-Wan one when it comes out? Hello there.
I don't know. We'll figure it out, dude. We'll figure it out.
Just call it Hello There every Friday. Hello there.
Welcome to the Hello There.
So, Anyway, I forget where I was going with that. Oh, I said at the beginning of the Mando Minute that we all knew she was in the episode. We're all like super excited. And I'm like, man, I said, I bet this is one of those weeks where, we go through this whole adventure, and then at the end, it's like Ahsoka standing right there. And then immediately
that's
the
what a lot of people
episode
said.
started.
Oh,
She's
and it's
just knocking people off, and I'm like, thank
just
you,
cutting
Dave.
everybody up, dude.
Thank you so much, Dave.
It was such an awesome intro to her character. And it reminded me a lot of when Ahsoka first enters Rebels for the first time. Like when she starts fighting the Inquisitors, it's just like she just comes out of nowhere and is just fighting them. I thought that was great. And like the white lightsabers looked phenomenal. We've never seen white lightsabers in a live action setting before, so that was really cool.
I like the Obi-Wan minute, by the way.
Obi-Wan minute? Oh, that's good. I like
Obi-Wan minute.
That's good.
Yeah, no, the in and out of the shadows in that one scene was absolutely... Every action scene they did with her was fantastic.
Yes.
It kept true to the Ahsoka we know from Clone Wars and Rebels. The fighting style, the agility, the ability to move. They just knocked it out of the park with that part of it. I had just literally no complaints. And if the only sacrifice we had to make was shorter Leku, then cool, I'm good.
Yeah.
Don't be a stupid internet boy and be like, excuse me, hold on.
Actually, hold on.
They're like way too short for me to enjoy the rest of the content in the episode. So, you Dave Filoni, you Jon Favreau, and Disney, you ruin everything.
Please don't be that person.
So the one thing that I absolutely just loved about this episode, and we had talked about it before, we said how episode 1 was very much so a Western, right?
Oh my gosh.
And
Yes,
we've always said that The Mandalorian is based off of early Western movies and off of Japanese samurai movies, right?
Yep.
We got our Western, right? This one was our Japanese samurai movie.
This was both. Okay, you want to know why?
Sure, yeah, go for it.
The scene where she's fighting the magistrate, which was completely a samurai showdown, like
Yes.
the scenery, the bridge, the water, everything. You
Yep.
have that going on, and then right outside the door, you have
They're
an old
doing a
Western
fucking-
standoff.
They're doing a standoff on the street. Yeah, I
Literally
agree.
at the same time. If anyone, because
Yep.
people have come into chat and been like, it's not a Western or a samurai. Like, come on.
No, they've done a beautiful job in all of the episodes to like give you that vibe the whole way through. And you're right. I didn't even think of it like that way. That's a beautiful way of like showcasing both styles at the same time. Even the way that they shot it, the angles and like just like the type of lens they were using for the different shots. Like you can tell like one shot, like when Ahsoka was fighting Morgan on the bridge, or when Ahsoka's at the gate and all these guys are coming after her. Like people have shown like side by sides of like this is taken from like an old like Japanese samurai movie, and they recreated it, and they've done a really good job of just like paying homage to those, a homage to those different styles. It was really good.
This is if the seven samurai and the good, the bad, and the ugly had a baby together. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is what they in space. That is what
in
they
space.
created. Fun fact about the magistrate. You know who that is?
She looks really familiar, and I can't figure out why. So please tell me.
That is Bruce Lee's goddaughter.
Shut up.
Hence, I'm gonna
Has
do
she
my
been-
own stunts.
Has she been in anything else before? Because she looked very familiar.
She's done other stuff. Yeah, I don't know exactly
Okay.
where you would have seen her from exactly.
Okay.
But she's done other things. But yeah, that's Bruce Lee's goddaughter, and
That's really cool.
yeah, that's why you got that fight scene.
The guy who plays the gun for hire is
Michael Biehn.
He's the T what is it, the T1000?
No, he is the
Isn't he?
He's the what's his name? Who they send back in time in the first one.
Oh, he's John Connor.
No, not John Connor.
His daddy.
Kyle Reese.
Kyle Reese.
He's also the main character in Far Cry Blood Dragon.
Oh, cool.
The hilarious one.
I love Blood Dragon. That's really good.
Yeah, he's Kyle Reese. I'm trying to see. Diana Lee Insanto is her name. Ino Santo, sorry.
I'm pulling up the IMDb right now.
Alita Battle Angel, the Sensei.
Oh, she was in Battle Angel?
That's probably where you know her
That's why, because I just watched Battle Angel not
from.
too long
Tokyo
ago.
Drift, but she was only a stunt player in that.
Have you seen Battle Angel?
She's
It's very
she's all
good.
stunts, like nothing in front of camera. From as I scrolled down.
I thought she did a great job though. I thought she did like
She was
a
fantastic.
phenomenal job. Her acting was great.
She nailed Hateful Bitch. Nailed it. I
True.
couldn't stand her. I was super annoyed with how she was treating the people.
She just constantly wanted to kill people. It was fantastic. I really liked her character. I couldn't figure out, like, I want to know more about her, though.
Yeah,
I would
Michael,
love to know more about her character and her backstory. So we know that she created
the fleet,
she was
the
a part
Imperial
of, she was a
fleet.
part of like the Imperial fleet construction.
Morgan Elspeth is her character's name. We don't. I
Correct.
looked it up. We don't know much about her yet.
She's a new character. She is introduced into canon through Mandalorian. But so like we know she fueled the Imperial war machine. She helped build the fleet. And again, chat, I've talked about this many times. If you read Catalyst, you'll understand what the Empire did to planets when they were building the Imperial fleet, when they were building the Death Star, and they were building everything they needed to for galactic takeover. They would literally go into planets and they would just suck all the resources out. They'd take all the trees. They'd completely harvest all the vegetation. They take all of the minerals and ore and everything out of the soil. They'd go down to the core, essentially, and they drain the life out of the planet, and then they just piss off. And that's essentially what she's doing to Corvus. So I wonder what she's doing to Corvus. She's not from there. I'd assume she's not from there. That's not her homeworld, right? If you're looking at her Wikipedia.
No. We don't know anything about her.
Cool.
All we
right,
know is that
I just want to make sure we didn't assume that wasn't her home planet.
she was part of the team that helped build the original fleet.
I wonder if she came over to Corvus, started harvesting material for Thrawn, or she's somehow tied into the New Order. And she's a part of the First Order, or the foundation of the First Order, and she's starting to help build that war machine. So
She evidently is working with Thrawn still.
She is, and that's why Ahsoka's there. I mean, like, that's why her protection. Look at her, like, you sent me that picture. Look at her protection. Those assassin bots, those assassin droids have Thrawn's.
Chat, did you pick up on that?
They have Thrawn's insignia on their shoulder pieces.
Yeah, what is it called? The sixth.
Which fleet is it? I forgot which fleet he controls. Seventh Fleet? No. That's
Seventh Fleet. It's the Seventh Fleet.
Oh, look at me!
We remembered.
I remembered.
Yay! Seventh Fleet.
Yeah, so that's the Seventh Fleet insignia. And I didn't see that because it's so faded on their pauldrons. But if you do a high res image and you zoom in, you will see the Seventh Fleet insignia.
But wait,
on these
droids, Tim.
Yeah,
they
we've seen
say
those.
what they're called in the episode. They're called. You ready, chat? Are you listening? Old school Knights of the Old Republic people. They're called
HK-87.
Which the ones in
Hunter
KOTOR
Killer 87.
are the Hunter Killer droids, which and the one in Knights of the Old Republic were 47s.
Yep. Well, your HK is one of your companions in KOTOR 1.
Yeah, but it's an HK 47, right?
Yeah, he's an older unit.
And these are newer units. These are HK 87s.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't talk. I was a little sad about that. They didn't ask a query. Question. Meatbag. I miss those. But, hey, we have HK droids that belong to Thrawn.
Yeah, we've got HK droids. Okay, so here's
How
another
does that not
really
make you
interesting-
happy as a Star Wars fan?
You
I'm
should.
sorry.
And so especially if you are a fan of the Thrawn books and you understand Thraw's fascination with when it comes to old robots. So in the first Thrawn book, Thrawn actually keeps a collection of Clone War era droids. And he's just absolutely fascinated by old technology. So for him to have Hunter Killer droids is really neat. It's just another thing to add on to his persona and his overall character within the universe.
That's not true, Jedi Chappie. There's a whole factory of HK-47s in SWTOR. The 50s I know about, but there's a whole factory of 47s too. I think at the time, maybe in KOTOR, yours is the only one, but in SWTOR they expanded. They ruined a lot of lore in SWTOR. I love the damn game, but they ruined a lot of it.
I love that they just keep on bringing, like, they bring more of Kotar.
Everything, little things,
into-
just in the background.
into this, just little things, like just little. I mean, it could be big pieces too. Look at the freaking crate dragon, but yeah. I just love how I love that this was a fan service episode, and there's so many little bits and pieces of just Easter eggs for the diehard fans, but at the same time, it was a really good story.
Yeah.
And it was a really cool thing. And the reason why I say that is because we had a lot of character development for the child, which is now Grogu, which is his name, which I think is really cool. Like I'm on the elliptical and I'm just like, he has a name. And I thought that was so cool that Ahsoka was able to communicate with him through the Force.
Before we go to Grogu.
Telepathically, which I thought was great.
Before we go to Grogu.
Sure.
Keeping with Corvus, I forget the name of the town. My only complaint with the episode was there was no development for me as to what was going on in that town. I still have no idea who that guy was.
I don't think we needed to know. We were told I think enough when it came to Corvus. I don't think Corvus is that important. I think it was just showcasing another Outer Rim world that is absolutely getting f***ed by the Empire. I mean, that's what she's doing. She's the entire planet, like most of the planet, the larger continent that we see when he comes into low orbit is on fire. She is destroying the ecosystem. She is harvesting the planet for materials.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that was enough development for that. Now why? So was Ahsoka there? Was Ahsoka there literally just on a lead for Thrawn? Was she there to liberate the people, or was that a byproduct of her going there? That was the only thing that kind of just was shrouded in mystery.
How did Morgan end up there, and why is she torturing the people of the town? That's all I want to know. Is she torturing them because Ahsoka's there, or was she always torturing them?
No. You could, like, the old guy at the end. Ahsoka puts the governor robes over him. I think he used to run the town.
I do too.
And then Morgan comes in, and she takes it over because she wants whatever's on the planet. Ahsoka showing up is just, I think, out of pure coincidence.
What's on the planet?
Material.
What material?
Right now, wood.
Look, bud, I'm a huge nerd, and I need to know what's going on.
I feel that. Does it help develop the story, though? Probably not. I think the only reason to have her there is, one, it was a cool setting. The planet was eerie. It was creepy. It kind of helped add to that Japanese samurai movie.
But it probably wasn't always like that.
No, it wasn't. No, it definitely
was not. Or maybe
not
just that part of the planet is like that.
Sure.
I have a million questions.
Yeah, but like you're getting to the point where, like, I need to explore all of the map and get 100%. Like, it's just like, I don't think it really matters.
A Mandalorian encyclopedia to give me all of the information on this planet so I can know what natural resources Morgan Elsbeth and the future First Order were harvesting. Thank you.
I guess you're gonna have to go to Celebration and ask.
I should ask one of the employees. They're like, "Hey, you know Din Djarin at Galaxy's Edge?"
I
think that covers everything in the town and the village. I was having fun when he was walking off his ship, and they had the huge docile beasts in the background.
The tick-looking guys, yeah.
Yeah, trying to figure out where the 4K screen started and where the real props ended.
Yeah.
I was like looking at the bottom of my TV, like, is it there? No, that
might
be a
all
real
the time
rock.
now, knowing how they film the show. I'm looking for the seam of, like, where does the set end and where does the 4K screen start.
Yeah. So, getting to the Grogu parts. Grogu, I did it again.
Grogu. Kevin.
When the magistrate sends Din out, and right before he finds Ahsoka.
Oh, we should talk about her Beskar spear.
I was going to talk about that when I talked about the Beskar when he fought Ahsoka.
Okay.
Okay, we all saw it. We know it's up there. There is an owl sitting in a tree right before Ahsoka shows up.
Yeah, that's Ahsoka's owl.
It's Morai.
It's from the daughter.
The daughter's Morai.
Well, the daughter died.
Right, but it
like
became the owl.
her physical embodiment of like her energy. Yeah, right.
Morai is the owl that is the daughter, if you will.
Right.
Are we?
Yes.
Because to me, all right, I'm cool with assuming. I'm just saying that owl's like green and white. This was a plain ass, stupid ass owl.
I think you're also like you. Well, I mean, you also have to remember the lighting and the setting.
I know
the woods were kind of on fire. I mean, like it looked really murky.
This was a regular ass owl that I could find in my backyard, and I don't have no light side force users hanging out back there. I'm just saying, or I'm sorry, light side embodiments of the force.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that it was.
I'm cool with that.
And they tried to make it look more realistic.
I'm cool with that. No, I have a nice TV, Kev, man. I was able to see the coloring on that bird.
Kevin's up there with one of those like jewelry inspector goggles, just like, oh, this pixel color's not right.
Like Al from Al's Toy Barn and Toy Story 2. Just eyeing it. I don't know. Those pixels don't look green. Pretty sure it had a longer tail. Well, that's it. It's not. We're out.
Oh my god. We talk about Grogu now.
That's a good question, Aaron. We'll talk about her lightsaber colors in just a moment. So, because a lot of people haven't read Ahsoka, so I feel like that's relevant to casual.
They're white.
fan.
They're white in Rebels.
Right, but not everyone has seen Rebels either. A lot of people have just. Oh, here we go. Did you hear that, elitist?
You guys call yourself fans.
Wow. Tim just said he's better than all of you. That's what happened. Whew, I'm uncomfortable. So the owl shows up, and she jumps down and goes to town on Mando. And his Beskar.
Watching a lightsaber meet Beskar is the coolest thing ever.
Right.
Now I understand why the Mandalorian make their armor out of Beskar.
I'll say this much. In EU, Beskar was not that strong. It could handle a lightsaber, but eventually it would break. I kind of like that they made Beskar equally as powerful against the lightsaber.
It's the kryptonite to lightsabers, which is cool.
Now you know why, during the great Jedi Mandalorian Wars, which have already been confirmed as canon, that the Mandalorians were like, oh, we can harvest this metal from our planet and the Jedis can't stab us in the neck. Well, you have to have it already in the chest.
This was like antimantium going against vibranium.
Yeah, that was the comparison.
It was really cool.
So yeah, they just clashed, and we learned how tough Beskar is there, and with the duel between the Magistrate and Ahsoka, which was awesome.
There's just like the sound that it makes is just really cool. Like this, like that dong. It was very cool.
when they like knocked it on the ground to make sure it was pure.
Yeah, like when the best like just like when Beskar just has when it oscillates and it makes that noise, like it just sounds really neat. I wonder how they captured that audio. Like, I wonder what they used to capture that. Like, I'm sure that'll come up in an episode of like the behind the scenes of like how they did it.
Tim, I want you to feel really bad. The person that asked about the white lightsabers, Aaron, Facebook, said, Tim, I got into Star Wars because of you. You heartless bastard. The white lightsabers, Aaron, just so you understand.
We're gonna go into it now.
Yeah, I mean we're here.
Go for it.
If you read the Ahsoka book, now when a Sith in Disney canon, to turn their lightsaber red, they need to bleed it, meaning they needed to commit some atrocities and horrible acts with the lightsaber to turn it red from whatever color the original crystal was.
Hold on a second. Why didn't Anakin's lightsaber turn red when he mowed down a bunch of kids?
It eventually did.
No, that's not true.
Oh, no, it didn't.
It did not.
No, the other one he got afterwards did.
Well, he bled that. I mean, he bled that crystal.
Maybe he didn't do enough atrocious, terrible things.
Oh, so a room full of little kids.
Maybe they only count as like 0.25 as opposed to 1
because they're half a human.
I don't know. I'm just
Kevin, that's terrible.
I'm just talking facts here, bud. Kevin. I didn't go into the room to slaughter all the kids.
Oh my God. Wow.
It's not my fault.
The kids are only quarter Jedi, so it doesn't matter.
That's it.
Wow.
I don't know.
All right. Okay, we'll see.
Yeah, didn't kill enough oldlings. You need to kill 4 younglings to equal an oldling. There you go. That's why, Tim. You got your answer. You wanted it. You got it.
Okay.
So,
all right.
To turn a lightsaber red, you have to bleed the crystal and do terrible things with it. Tim's right. It should have turned red, but I think we didn't get to that part of the canon. It was the egg before the chicken. The horse before... No, the cart before the... No, the cart before the horse. So the white lightsaber is the opposite. When a lightsaber is... Or a lightsaber crystal, a kyber crystal is bled. The only person that I think we know of in any sort of canon or anything that has done this is Ahsoka.
Ahsoka's the only one.
She basically used the Force to purify the crystal and bring balance to it, just like her, and changed it from red to white. So she has no affiliation to Jedi or Sith. She is the embodiment of balance in the Force, and she has white lightsabers.
I think that was their way of acknowledging her being gray without calling her gray.
Just use the damn
Is
word.
giving her a white lightsaber, giving her the white robes that is unconventional. Because it always, when it comes to robe colors, Sith is black, Jedi is brown. There's never been you never really ever see anyone wearing other colors, and so for Ahsoka to adorn a white robe, to have white lightsabers, I feel like that's just like their way of making that nod to her being gray without actually using that word, because they don't like to call Force users that live in the middle, which is kind of frustrating, because I really feel like there needs to be a name that you give a person who is neither one or the other. They live in the middle. A lot of them are just referred to as just Force wielders. They're just people who are attuned with the Force, that are able to use its powers, but they have no affiliation.
People are saying it's like Gandalf.
It is in a way it is like Gandalf.
Gandalf. Oh God, you're gonna don't.
Hold on, no, just let me just.
You're gonna say it wrong, and I'm gonna get mad. Go ahead.
Okay, or I'm not gonna say it then. I don't want to piss Kevin off. Like I see where they're coming from. I understand where they're coming from when they say that. But
Gandalf was not purified. Gandalf came back because the White Wizard, who was the top wizard, failed at his mission. The mission that was given to him by the god of Iluvatar, or whatever it is. Or Saruman failed. Gandalf died and then came back as the White Wizard to fulfill the mission that the White Wizard's mission was. So no, it's not similar.
I understand where they're coming from, though. I get it.
I'm too nerdy to handle that.
I was just trying to agree. I could see where they're coming from, even though it wasn't right.
Too nerdy.
I get it.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
So anyways, Ahsoka is kind of just like she is the absolute. She is the epitome of balance that we know of.
Yeah.
When it comes to a warrior, like we've met other Force wielders who are neutral.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure we'll meet more as more stories expand. I have a feeling we're going to meet a shit ton in the High Republic. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sect, tribe, something of Force users who are like, I didn't like the Jedi, and the other stuff's too evil, because there's not supposed to be any Sith.
Plagueis is out there doing something.
And as Alex pointed out on the show,
is during the High Republic? Is that Bane?
Bane is pre High Republic. Plagueis is post High Republic. So this is completely unexplored territory. We have no idea. I don't even think EU explored this time period. So this is complete fresh slate.
Yep.
Nothing to compare it to. But
anyways, back to Grogu. Can we talk about Grogu now?
That's like the most important part of the episode, in my opinion. So let's talk about Grogu.
Okay, his name is Grogu. He's not Baby Yoda. He's not the child anymore.
But you sent me a meme that said you were not going to call him Grogu.
I love that. What was it? I've seen a couple of them so far. There's one
said
where
I know his name is Grogu, but I'm going to continue calling him Kevin.
There was one where it's, I forget the movie, but it's like the two cops in the back and they're like, "What's your name?" He's like, "Grogu." He's like, "Fuck it, I'm going to call you the child." There's another one where it's like, "Repeat after me. Grogu, Grogu, the child." It's just like, it was good. I love all the memes coming out of that. But we now understand where he comes from. We know that he's not a Yoda clone, which is great. We know that he's not the love child of Yoda and Yaddle.
We knew that.
Which is great. We now know that he was being trained at the Jedi Temple during the Clone Wars era, which is really cool, but also really weird. And we talked about this on Mando Minute. But we know that he's 50 years old. Looking how he behaves and how he acts and his overall demeanor on the show, he behaves a lot like a toddler. What was he like 20 years before when he was 30?
Gigantic pain in the ass.
He must have been absolutely unbearable. Because Din has a rough time with him right now. What was he like when he was 30? He must have been terrible. Also, I couldn't imagine trying to train something like that has the attention span of a 2-year-old. Holy crap.
I think he fully matures within the next 50 years because that species lives to what, like 700-ish, 600-ish?
I mean, Yoda went to 900.
900? So, yeah, you're talking probably within the next 50 years, the maturity will start to kick in. That's true. I'm almost 40, and I'm here. I am hosting a Star Wars podcast on the internet. So why are we judging Grogu?
But so Grogu, we know that he was being trained as a Jedi at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, and then the Jedi Order falls. The Empire takes over, and so he has to go into hiding, which is crazy that he at that young of an age had to preserve himself and absolutely cut himself off from the Force to hide himself, which I thought was really, really interesting. But there's also some missing pieces to this. If he was in hiding, how did the Empire know he existed? Why did the bounty get put on him? And how did they know that he was going to be the right candidate for the M count?
He got captured at some point because the pirates had him.
So something happened. So I wonder if he put himself like in hiding in his little carriage and was found at the Jedi Temple when they went to go ransack the place. So I want to know what happens there. But we do know he was an apprentice. He was a youngling at the Jedi Temple. The Jedi Order falls. He goes into hiding, and he has to cut himself off from the Force, which causes these issues that we've been seeing with him throughout the past without the past season and this season, is that his ability to use the Force is off. It comes at a point where he is most afraid or is worried about Mando. And that leads into Ahsoka saying that he's too old. He essentially when I saw that scene of her doing the Force test with the ball, when she said I can't train him, it automatically brought me back to episode 1 with Qui-Gon and Anakin sitting in front of Yoda and Windu, and he's just like, he's too old. We can't. He fears. He has attachment. Which like it kind of hurt my heart a little bit that Ahsoka was just like, no, I'm not gonna do this. But at the same time, I understood why when she mentioned Anakin. Like that is such a sore spot for her. Still, like years and years and years later, 20 years later, she still can't bring herself to accept what happened to Anakin.
You don't get over that though.
Sure, no, that was her that was her brother.
She's got to take that with her forever. That one's not gonna go away. She learned from it, obviously. But that is, and it was equally as painful for Anakin. We've talked about it a million times. Those moments in Rebels at the temple on Malachor, his face momentarily. That's so telling of even Anakin. The space battle in the beginning of Rebels,
each other
right?
Again for the first time. Mm-hmm.
That was the beginning of Rebels. Yeah, they sense each other, and he realizes she survived, and she realizes what's going on. So. I think a lot of people are taking stuff out of context now from the rest of Star Wars and applying it to Grogu incorrectly.
What do you mean?
You know, everyone's saying like, oh, the other chosen one and blah, blah. And I think it's just, that's not the point of Grogu. Grogu is going to be another representation of the fall of the Jedi. What happened? He was so young and so tiny, and there's going to be this terrible story attached to it that I'm sure will unfold over time of the poor thing for 20 years just trying to survive.
We have to remember they're using Grogu and they're using Mando to depict what it was like to be at the absolute lowest of lows during the Clone Wars and to pick yourself back up.
And they found each other.
And they found each other, and that's the really cool story. Is these two broken people find each other and become whole and become a team, and it's a really cool story to tell. Sorry?
Ahsoka's the first one to recognize that they have a father-son relationship too.
Yes.
Everyone else
very much
thinks
so.
it, no one says it. Ahsoka just flat out goes,
He's attached to you.
yeah, and you're like a father to him.
Well, I love that she was like, she was like, call to him, and he's like, hey kid, Grogu. And then he just lights up. He's like, he's calling me by my name. I was like, oh, that's so cute.
It was adorbs balls.
Yeah, it really was. But it's just you really see how broken Din is. He loses his family during the Clone Wars. The Death Watch takes him under their wing. He becomes this radical essentially.
So there's go ahead.
Yeah, and then just and again from the other spectrum, you have Grogu, who is essentially a part of a radicalistic group of Jedi. Because really at the end of the Jedi era, they were kind of radical. They were imposing their beliefs and their powers upon people to win the war.
That's why Ahsoka left.
Exactly. And so you have these two people from two opposite sides of the spectrum who come from very, very different walks of life, meeting up and then having this adventure together. And just it really has come full circle as far as character development goes. And now they can finally go on this new path together, which I think is really cool.
The interesting thing, and have fun speculating here now. Here I'm cool with speculation. Who took him from the temple?
Again, that is a part of those missing pieces as to how did he go from.
She says someone took him from the temple though.
Right, but who?
Right, who?
Is it
It's
bounty
Mace.
hunters?
Here we go.
Was it Imperial forces? Did the Emperor already start this project? With the M counts and whatever was going on was that a part of it? I don't know. And that would be something I'd love to expand upon as we go forward. Is as when we got the Mando flashbacks in the first season, I would love to see Grogu flashbacks in this season.
The librarian's dead. I think Anakin kills her.
She's really dead.
It's hilarious because we had the joking Mace theory on the show a few weeks ago. Then the article came out that people are in line all of a sudden were speculating that Mace is still alive, which I was just like, okay, somebody listens to our show and this just caught fire. And then
hate
third,
this theory so hard.
The second that happened, my Discord, my people tweeting at me were going, yo, Kevin, do you think it's Mace that took him from the temple? We've started a meme, Tim.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
Oh, is that what the librarian survives for a while and Vader kills her? You know what? I think I did think she died in the temple, and then I read somewhere else that that is what happened.
Yeah, she gone. She dead.
Why would you? I forget her name, but why would you kill her?
She's kind of annoying.
Dude got yeeted from 100 stories up at no fall damage.
Dude, his hands got cut off.
One hand.
And he got pushed out of a window with force electricity and went flying off like a rocket.
Do you know who he is, though?
He's dead.
He is Mace Windu.
He's dead, Kevin. Just like Boba Fett.
He survived the fall, and he went up to that temple. Tim, listen to me. He went up to that temple, and he was like, there are too many Sith in this mother temple. And he cleared house and grabbed Grogu and left.
So why would he leave him?
What do you mean? Leave him where? How do you know he left him somewhere? How do you know Mace is not scouring the galaxy right now looking for baby Grogu? And then when Grogu goes to the historical ancestral home of the Jedi, Tython, next episode, or probably 2 episodes, or the finale. Tython, I got all giddy. We'll talk about that in a second. And you go to Tython and the stone and the beacon, and then Mace is like, I heard y'all mother needed a Jedi.
No. Stupid. I hate
Mace
that
Windu
so much.
Gonna have to.
I would accept the fact that Ahsoka is using Grogu on the pillar to reach out to Ezra before I would ever believe that he was reaching out to Mace Windu.
I don't think Grogu reaches out to a Jedi. I think the beacon goes out.
No.
And
He's
the
not
Force...
reaching. He's not reaching out. It's literally, think of it like a beacon. Think of it as like he is sitting on this pillar and it amplifies the signal of, hey, I'm here. And anyone who's attuned to that signal is going to hear it. And so I'm curious if Ahsoka is using this as a way to reach out to Ezra as like, hey, we're here, and not a like, hey, Mace Windu, I'm here. Like that, like for them to break that out is so out there. It makes absolutely no sense from a storytelling perspective. Why does it matter? Like, why would we need him?
So obviously he turns down or she turns down training him, and Mando's okay with it. She gives him the Beskar spear. We all know that stuff. That was cool, fun. Let's talk about Tython. She says take him to Tython. Kevin got a nerd boner.
Which is a very important planet for many reasons.
I shrieked.
It was also mentioned, which is really cool. They foreshadowed this in the previous episode when the protocol droid was talking about transport lanes.
Yes.
And they talked about the inner core, which I thought was the deep core. They talked about deep core, and they actually mentioned Tython, which I thought was very cool. Tython has come up a couple times. We talked about this on Mando Minute. But Tython, overall, for those who don't know, Tython's a very important planet for the Jedi. It is believed to house, to have the first ever Jedi temple on this planet, which is very, very interesting. And for those that don't know, the deep core is past the central core. So like where like Coruscant lives, like that's considered like the center of the galaxy, like for like overall like galactic trade and whatnot. When you go farther than that, you go to like the center of the galaxy. You're going to the centermost point, and Tython is there.
Talk about why he doesn't move the rock, but the piece from the ship, because it's Dad that's like, hey, take the thing you want.
He has attachment. You have to think about it as being attached to items and to objects. It's not just doing an action anymore. It's like I want this. I'm attached to this. It's all about feelings and emotion.
When a child takes a toy that isn't actually a toy but something of yours and they won't give it up, and you're like, hey, come play with this thing, it's cooler, they look at you and they go, no, I'm good, I'm gonna keep this thing that I really like.
Why are you playing with that thing then?
That's the difference between the rock and the... I feel like that's really self-explanatory. Anyway, Tython, whatever you want to call it, I don't care.
Yo, Tython.
Very, 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 very important planet, like Tim said in Legends. If you've played SWTOR,
a lot of that's now canon, Kevin. You have to remember, like this is
not a lot of it, but a decent amount of it is enough that it's the first Jedi temple and all, or supposedly
the importance of like this pertain to the Jedi is now canon.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah. No, that part is. So Tython, if you've played SWTOR, that's where if you play as a Jedi, that's where you start your journey. Beautiful planet, hills, mountains, gorgeous.
There's also ice caps on it. Like it's also snowy.
Yeah. It's a temperate. I don't want to say like Alderaan, because Alderaan's kind of coldish. It's a nice planet,
but it's not Hoth.
No. It's a very nice planet. So Tython, where we went in Fallen Order? No, we didn't go to Tython in Fallen Order. I would have lost my shit if we went to Tython.
To Ilum. Went to Ilum.
Yes, Ilum is the planet with the light with the kyber crystals.
So in canon, we have been to Tython before, but in a comic. And so Dr. What's the Indiana Jones person? Sorry?
Dr. Aphra.
Dr. Aphra. So it shows up in there, and Dr. Aphra meets up with Vader because she tricks him into thinking that that's where the rebel base is. It's not.
Yeah. So
they've been here before. It's also come to find out, I did my research. Tython showed up originally first as canon in 2016 for the Force Awakens like tabletop game. Was like the first time Tython was mentioned, and then they started building upon that, which is weird. Like they put it first in a tabletop game for episode 7, which I thought was kind of weird. It was kind of strange, but they've started to add it more into more storytelling.
Someone said it's Tython a Jedi like Exegol to Sith. Exegol, we don't know enough about Exegol. I think Exegol is the Starforge, which is created by a whole other race, and the Sith took advantage of it. I would say if you're going to compare two planets, Korriban, or if is Drummond Koss even canon? I don't know. Drummond Koss would be the only other one.
No, it'd be like a Korriban to the Sith as to like what Tython is to Jedi.
Tython, Dantooine, those are like Jedi-ish planets, and Drummond Koss, Morabun is Lothal had a Jedi temple too,
but a very important Jedi temple. It wasn't just a Jedi temple.
Was Exegol a thing before Episode 9? Exegol was in process. We didn't know about it.
So like
for many years.
But Exegol is out in the chaos, so like no one, like the chaos is still very much so like a very like unknown area of like Star Wars, like the Star Wars universe. Like we're just now starting to like learn about it in the Thrawn books. We're starting to learn about the inhabitants of the chaos and like how it all works.
So chat is going absolutely nuts now. I love it. Morban? No, I'll never call it Morban. It'll always be Korriban, and Disney confirmed you can call it either one. SWOTOR pre-Disney, yes, SWOTOR's Tython is not necessarily canon, but at this point, I think going back into EU material and researching and looking things up is probably a safe bet where Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are headed.
They're doing it, but they're doing it very gracefully.
Very gracefully. Very, very nice. Introducing these things to the uber nerds like us who were sitting here talking about it on a Monday night freaking out. And on top of that, bringing in new people who have no idea what it is and are going, what's a Tython? Is that like a snake or... You know, they're not going to give us everything all at once. And that's completely understandable and okay, and I'm totally fine with it. We are the ones who are going to freak out and speculate and have fun. That's why we have this. But, so I feel like we're going to see the first Jedi Temple in Disney canon. I feel like we're going to see the ruins of it. I have a feeling that there'll be some sort of dark side, light side situation. I'm not sure how that's all going to play out.
So just to kind of frame this up for everybody where we are, Luke is out there building up his new Jedi Order. He's starting to build his temple. He's recruiting people. He's training people. He's starting to train people like Ben Solo, his nephew. And so you have to like kind of think about like where, like when we meet up with Grogu again, Kevin, what do you think the possibility is that we might see a Luke Skywalker show up? Because that has also come up. We're in speculating time right now. I want to start throwing out crazy ideas when we get to Tython.
I hope not.
Do you? But that's the possibility. Remember, Ahsoka said, "Place him on the stone. He's going to choose his path. If he chooses the one path and reach out to the Jedi, in theory, Luke would hear that call." And so I've seen people speculate that a Luke Skywalker could show up and answer the call.
Someone on Reddit had the perfect actor and did, some editing to that actor to make them look, I forget who it was, to make them look like Luke. I didn't want to talk about this, so I didn't pull it. Made them look like Luke, and I was just like, damn it, that looks a lot like Luke Skywalker, and I'm annoyed that the possibility
was it Boss Logic? Because Boss Logic did a couple edits.
It might have been, yeah.
Like when he did Rahu Koli as Ezra was really well done.
So everyone wants to talk about that. Before we take questions and we wrap up the episode, let's talk about that.
It's Sebastian Stan is his name.
Yeah, that was it. So he's going to take him up to the top of the peak of the temple, which I sent him. It's probably not the same spot, but in SWTOR, I sent him the forge, the lightsaber forge on the peak on Tython. I was like, hey, Tim, just wanted to do a little research.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. Yeah, no, it was neat. People were there and stuff, too, which I thought was really cool.
Oh, yeah, it was, there were some other Jedis with me, but that was Hunter's character that was building his lightsaber. So I was like, oh, we're on Tython. Let's go play the game for a little while. So everyone is asking, okay, if Grogu... I don't think she says that without some sort of interaction with a Jedi in the galaxy. That is way too much of a tease of a statement for them to be like, all right, no, he's not going to do that. We're just going to continue on our journeys. Some sort of pivotal action has to take place that involves the Jedi. Now, could it be her coming back and being like, I feel led to help you on your journey, or to steer him away from... I don't know. It could be that.
I don't think this is going to be the one and only time we see Rosario Dawson
I don't
as
either.
Ahsoka.
I don't either.
I think Ahsoka in live action, I think she's going to make... I don't think she's going to be a pivotal role in The Mandalorian.
No, I think that is introducing the actress that will now, as the MCU does, interact in other
Correct.
Star Wars properties.
We have talked about this in the past, and I feel very confident in saying that Rosario Dawson will always be the live action Ahsoka from here on out.
Right. Just like Din will probably show up in some other properties along the way, you know.
Especially if Disney is double downing on these shows, on these like whether they're doing the shorts for Obi-Wan or a potential Boba Fett short, or they continue doing Mandalorian or whatever it is. I think that they have really figured out the formula when it comes to Star Wars live action. I think they understand that it's not the movies, it's telling really, really fun and well-developed stories through shows. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay. Honestly, I would be okay without another cinematic Star Wars, like done in a cinema format, 2 hours long, because you never ever get enough character development. You never get enough attachment to the characters and learning about them in a movie. But you are able to learn about the character, you're able to come and love the character through being so involved with them through many seasons. You are attached to them for so long, and their story is always being developed, and things are changing, and things happen to them, and like you live with them. Whereas like within a 2-hour window, you just don't get enough time. There's never enough time. You're just always like, man, I wish this would have happened, or I wish I could learn more about that. And so like I really respect them doing more of these shows than anything else. Because I really think this format works for Star Wars.
So we go to Tython, he does a thing. We agree that there's some sort of interaction with the Jedi, correct? There has to be.
Yeah, no.
You don't say that line and
that.
then fall flat on that. So
no.
We look at all the living Jedi that we know of. There's probably more that we know of. We know Luke. We know Leia.
Ahsoka.
We know Ahsoka.
Yeah, Leia.
We don't know if Cal is alive, and Tim and I both agree that Cal will never come into this until his story has been done being told in Jedi Fallen Order. Because they don't want to say, by the way, no matter what happens over the course of these next 2 video games, Cal's still alive.
No. That ruins the hook. You want to know what happens next to Cal? That's like knowing, like, that's like going ahead to Harry Potter and see what happens at the end of Voldemort before you finish book 2. You're like, oh, Voldemort's gonna fucking die regardless, and Harry Potter's gonna be alive. Oh, okay, cool. You ruin that. And so like Cal, like, and Kevin and I talked about this in Mando a minute. Cal's story is, I believe Cal's story lives within the video game. I don't think we'll see a lot of cross pollination between that video game and this story. Until we get to the end, like Kevin said, until we get to the end of the trilogy. But by that point, like, we're talking like 5 to 8 years down the road from now for that story to be done.
Cal could show up in the Obi-Wan series because he would be alive during that timeline anyway. Do I think he will? Probably not, because how the hell would Cal Kestis know about Obi-Wan? Could get a tip maybe that there's a Jedi hanging out on. I don't know.
Remember we had the holocron that had all of the recorded.
He destroyed
Force
it though.
He did, but I mean, like, I'm saying, like, that
wasn't
was a
that
tool
children
that was
though.
It was children, correct? I'm just saying, like, there are things out there that have records of Force users. So, like, we could potentially maybe, but again, I think Cal Kestis is going to stay as a video game character. I don't see, like, yes, the actor could do a very good job. We've seen him do a great job in shows. He's awesome. But I think he's going to stay in the video game. I think Cal's story is designed to be told through a video game and not through a show, or to have him make any type of appearance like that. I don't think that is something where you would have to play the video game to know who that character is, to appreciate that character showing up in somewhere else. Even with Bo-Katan, like, we'll just use Bo-Katan for example. even if you've never seen Rebels before, Bo-Katan's character presents herself as someone very important that you have to pay attention to.
So, Cal was in the temple. He'd know who Obi-Wan was. He wouldn't know that Obi-Wan was still alive. No one knows who's still alive. The only person that probably everyone would assume might be still alive is Ahsoka because she left already. Regardless, Tim and I both agree Cal is not the answer here. And it'd be really kind of weird and awkward if it was.
That's just another really obscure fan service that wouldn't make sense.
So Luke, Leia, Ahsoka, Cal, and again, we don't know if Cal's still alive. Cal could get killed at the end of the third game.
At this point, I will not put Cal into that list. At this point, I'm going to put Luke, Leia, Ahsoka,
and the big one that everyone won't stop talking about, Ezra. Now, Ezra makes a lot of sense and doesn't at the same time, and I'll explain why, and Tim obviously do the same afterwards. Ezra makes sense because introducing Ahsoka, Ezra, and Sabine at some point into all of this, and Thrawn makes complete sense. And it interacts with the timeline perfectly. It bridges gaps between Rebels to this, to Episode 7, etc., etc. So it's cool. We all think Rahul Kohli would be numero uno to play Ezra, and he has deleted tweets that Tim and I have answered.
Man, he just keeps poking the goddamn bear, dude.
So it's
I really want him on this show.
I do too, and I think even if if there is no Ezra at this point, what the fan base has done is got John and Dave like, well, we got to get this Rahul guy as Ezra, or else they're gonna fucking riot. So Ezra's a possibility. Here's why I don't think Ezra's a possibility. It would ruin future storytelling, again, for Ezra to still be alive.
Agreed.
Now, that doesn't mean no, because revealing that Ezra alive just reveals that we don't know how him and Thrawn got back from the chaos or whatever it may be. There's still a story to tell. But also saying that he is alive could ruin the story. Does that make sense? Especially if Dave is planning on another season of Rebels, which he has openly said he is.
No, I'm pretty sure he said that they're not doing another Rebels.
No, he said. Didn't he say they are doing another Rebels or something after Rebels?
He said. So I went after I finished the last season of Rebels. I was like, oh my god! Like I had to go Google, is Thrawn and Ezra alive? And Dave Filoni says in an interview, he says, they're alive, and I'm leaving that part of the story open so I can continue telling the story later on down the road.
Follow-up series.
That is not confirming that there will be another Rebels season. I think what he meant was he was alluding to, I am going to tell their story through stuff like Mando. I'm going to use other vehicles to deliver my story.
The rumor was a follow-up series. That's what I was thinking of.
But I really feel like they figured it out. They found a really cool way to tell the story of the very beloved Rebel characters in a brand new story.
So
which I think is really cool.
There's that. There's the possibility I haven't seen anyone even mention, which is a dead Jedi coming to talk to little Grogu. Someone he might have known from the temple.
I didn't even think about
someone
that.
we know too. Could be Yoda, could be Obi-Wan, could be Anakin. Could be any of them coming back to talk to him.
That's true. She doesn't say that it's only alive. It could.
Right. Especially in a place with the light side of the Force. Yoda would probably be numero uno, easy option to pull off. Because you can.
Kevin, that's so smart. I didn't think of that.
Qui-Gon, absolutely. Liam Neeson could have taken a bit role for this.
So Liam Neeson Liam Neeson showing up would be really interesting.
Qui-Gon makes sense too, because if Grogu is going to walk this path of neutrality, Qui-Gon's going to be the one you'd want to talk to you about it.
To use a Force Ghost instance is a very interesting play.
No, Jeff Blue James is not a Jedi. He's off fighting for the Empire.
We should have talked about that. That was digitally erased from the episode.
God damn it, Disney.
It's not there anymore. They sent some editor back with a VFX crew and they edited it out.
Can you imagine that conversation?
Frame by frame.
Which one of you sons of bitches left this in? You're. I'm gonna eat your
Dude.
entire family.
Oh my God.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Poor Jeff.
Yeah. Imagine having that conversation on a Monday morning. Holy crap. But yeah, Kevin, I love that.
I swear to
that
God,
idea.
I've got your kids here, and you won't see them again until Blue Jeans Guy is edited out of the episode.
You're a terrifying Mickey. Oh my God.
Oh boy.
But yeah, I like that idea a lot. I'm not even gonna try to put a hole in it. I like that theory.
And then Toodles.
Oh shit, dude, he's gonna bring a Mouscatool.
All right. So yeah, that would be my last guess. Is that it's a Force ghost of someone we know.
I like that's actually my favorite one so far.
The last theory I have, and people have said this in chat too, and I did think about this. This is also the opportunity, since John is sending us on a path of video game euphoria. You could introduce a completely new character to the series that all the old nerds know, and all the new people are like, all right, well, this Kyle Katarn guy, he seems handsome and cool, but all the old nerds are just like, are you fucking kidding me? And then we all want to mouth kiss Dave and John.
I mean, but so who do you think would show up?
I mean, if you want to get the fans all in a tizzy and get them all excited, Kyle Katarn is like and it makes sense in the timeline. It makes sense with some of the other stuff that's been revealed this season.
With like Dark Troopers and stuff.
Yeah, like Kyle fits into the narrative right now.
I mean, he's a rogue Jedi. I mean, he's
Who
a gunslinger.
better? Who better?
I know he's a gunslinger. I mean, like it could.
Kyle Katarn doesn't necessarily mean Luke because we're talking about a new canon. You can take a character from that and make them new with, the existing persona of who they were previously. That is my crazy theory is Kyle Katarn.
So real quick, I'm going to read you the canon. So for those that are wondering about Kyle Katarn, who might not know, this might be your first time hearing his name, I'm going to read you the canon insert on Wikipedia.
Wait, he has a
about
canon
Kyle
insert?
Katarn. He has a canon insert.
I didn't know that.
So he was introduced into Star Wars the card game Galactic Ambitions. And so here's the Kyle Katarn entry. Kyle Katarn was a Force-sensitive human male who worked as a mercenary, an operative for the Rebel Alliance, and became known as a thorn in the Galactic Empire side. Eventually, Katarn went on to become a Jedi. Katarn used a green lightsaber and a K-16 Briar pistol. And that is it. That is it for Kyle Katarn's entry in canon. If you go to the Legends tab, it is massive. It goes on and on and on and on.
Just read us all of it. Go ahead. We'll wait.
He does have a canon entry. So Kyle Katarn technically could be...
He's even got a different look as canon.
He does. He does have an entirely different look.
Oh, I hate you for showing this to me.
So I mean,
the
Kyle
hope meter
Katarn,
just went up a little bit more.
Kyle Katarn could show up. He was around for the Rebel Alliance. He was a thorn in the Galactic Empire side. 5 years later, we don't know if he's dead or not. The guy he did become a Jedi. But what's crazy is he was a mercenary for the Rebel Alliance and then became a Jedi.
Timmy.
So who taught him how to be a Jedi? Could be interesting. Could be a very interesting story to tell.
Because introducing a new Jedi, again, they have not really been too concerned with the new viewer. They're like, okay, new viewer, you're going to come along for this ride and be introduced to this character. The uber Star Wars nerd at this point they'd lose their shit. It would be the talk of the internet.
Yeah, because like they've done a really good job of bringing in like this season has all been like we joked around the first season that was like, man, this feels like a lot like a video game. Like he goes back, he gets a level up, he gets an upgrade. And then this one, it was like, no, they really are bringing Star Wars video game culture into this show, which I thought was really cool.
So
it makes sense.
You have more time because there's a bajillion questions.
Sure, why not? It's a special episode.
Can you imagine the season finale if we're an hour and 20 minutes in today? bring a pillow and a blanket because we're going to be here for a while. All right, chat. I'm going to burn through these questions as quickly as possible and try and avoid you guys asking the same question over and over again, or a question we've answered at least 8 to 12 times over the past year and a half.
It's only been a year.
Oh, good. That was a Kyle Katarn question. Got that one out of the way. Can we get a shout out for David Prowse? Yes. David Prowse, the original actor who played Darth Vader in the suit, passed away a few days ago.
That's sad.
A legend.
But he was like in his 80s.
Yeah,
he lived a good life.
He lived a good life. How many people can be like, I was Darth Vader?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, rest well, sweet Sith.
Long live the Empire.
We answered that one. Wow, we answered a lot of these. Okay, hold on. We might get through all of them. Oh, we answered that one too. If you can bring an EU Jedi from this time period to canon, who would you want and why? We just said it.
Go.
Kyle Katarn. Tim's Googling.
No, I'm not.
Tim. Who is Jedi EU? Love Tim. Do you Google, when you Google, do you type Dear Google?
No.
No?
Should I?
Yeah. It's the only
What
way
happens if you do?
It's the only way it works.
Hold on. What happens if I do Dear Google? Dear Google,
Did you find the secret?
who is a Jedi? And nothing happens.
You gotta look for the secret.
We're an idiot. Keep going.
All right, we answered that one. That one's an M count joke against Tim. We'll skip that one.
I hate all
We
of them.
answered the Filoni one. Okay, with Thrawn's increased prevalence in the new canon, what do you think the chances are of seeing the Yuzong Vong or something like it with new directors? You
We're
said
not
the
getting
Yuzong
Vong.
You said they've already been replaced in. Was it at the Thrawn?
I'm not going to say that they've been replaced. I'm going to say that there is a race from the chaos that has been introduced in the Thrawn book, known as the Grisk. The Grisk are a nomadic tribe. They travel in large caravans of Star Destroyers and whatnot, or like, comparable vehicles of war, and they go and enslave people and they make people do their bidding. That is what the Grisk do. The Grisk don't like to. They like to use other people to fight for them, but they're very they're scary. They're terrifying. They replace their teeth. They rip their teeth out and replace them with weaponry. Like, these guys are warriors to the bone, but they're also smart. They do some really, really cool stuff. But so the Grisk are going to be like your terrifying nomadic conquering tribe. They are like the Danes in Vikings or the Last Kingdom. Like, they are these conquering people that just go out and they're in the chaos and they're starting to encroach upon galactic space.
And that's different from Yuzong Vong, because the Yuzong Vong were warrior culture. They didn't they viewed their bodies as weapons.
But that's what the Grisk do. The Grisk have they literally change their anatomy as weapons. But at the same time, they're very I feel like they're very smart when it comes to how they use other races as their tools to do their stuff. They do some nasty stuff. They turn people into suicide bombs. It's gross. They're sucking up all the Chiss. They're trying to capture a bunch of Chiss children so that they have their own navigators and stuff. It's some pretty dark stuff. If you wanna read up on the Grisk, read book 2 and book 3 of Thrawn.
Cody asked this one. We kind of touched on this, but you can elaborate. Now the Jedi are more involved in the show, do you think they stay part of the story or just brush in and out of the storyline when it builds the world?
So Grogu, the child, as soon as he was introduced into the show as a Force wielder, it was inevitable that we'd have some type of fan service when it came to a Jedi. I still truly believe in my heart of hearts that the focus of the show will always be the Mandalore people, the culture. Din Djarin was going to stay as our protagonist for now, But what's cool is that as the title is The Mandalorian, it's not Din Djarin. It's anyone can be a Mandalorian, right? So I mean, like I honestly feel like you could interchange who your protagonist is in this show, as long as it keeps to someone who is of either birth from Mandalore or someone who follows the way of the Mandalorian. So I mean, like that could be a possibility, but I still fervently believe that it's still going to focus on the Mandalorian culture, the Mandalorian ways. It's gonna like your protagonist is always going to be a Mandalore. It's not going to be focused on a Jedi. But I think we'll continue to see, because like what's Star Wars without someone wielding a lightsaber at some point? You know, that's just another sci-fi show. You know, like you need to have that level of you need to have the Force, you need to have that mysticism, you need to have that ancient Hokie religion to really like make it Star Wars.
Do you think that the city on Corvus was named Caladan? Do you think that was a nod to Dune, because the planet that's the home of House Atreides is Caladan in Dune?
Oh, interesting. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I think it might be a nod.
There's a lot of things. I mean, like Corvus, the only time we ever heard that was in Battlefront.
Yeah.
Too. So I mean, like they've done a couple things where it's just like, haha.
Roslyn asked, I read an article yesterday that hypothesized that Darth Revan will be hinted at or show up eventually. Do you think there's any validity or any possibility?
Sure. I mean, like
the only way you see a Darth Revan in The Mandalorian is a mask reference.
Yeah, it'll be or an entry or like
a cult. They could bring back his cult. Revan did have a cult.
Sure. Yeah, no, most definitely.
The cult of Revanites.
Like, there's also a Vader cult. Like there are people who worship artifacts from Vader. You know, like again, like that's the one thing that I love about Star Wars. Like as you really start to get deep into it, like the mysticism and like the really like dark, like pagan-esque style of like worship these artifacts and stuff, which is really cool. I mean, like we've already seen Revan mentioned multiple times now in canon entries, whether it's in Episode 9, or there's like we see the lightsaber from the light effects from Hasbro Black. For them to mention him is not completely out of this world. But is it going to be a main focus? No, I don't think so.
Any chance this episode could have been a backdoor pilot for a new show focusing on the Rebels crew? Skippy asked.
No. Again, I think this is Filoni's way of starting. It's like continuing that story or giving us closure. It honestly could be that. It really could be him trying to tie up loose ends and just using it within the Mandalorian. Do I think this is a pilot episode? No. Do I think this is their way of perfecting some of the techniques that they're going to use on like the Obi-Wan show, or other future projects? Sure, most definitely.
Kevman said, could Thrawn be trying to create the First Order and that's why Ahsoka's hunting him? To
No.
my knowledge, Thrawn has nothing to do with the First Order.
Again, I talked about this earlier. I will say it again. Thrawn's allegiance, his heart, everything always points back to the Ascendancy. And so now Thrawn's entire reason for being a part of the Galactic Imperial Navy was to ensure the safety of the Chiss Ascendancy. That is the only reason he was sent there. After he gets back, and we'll learn more about this in the new Ascendancy book that's coming out next year. When Thrawn comes back from helping Anakin, and after he meets him and goes back to the Chiss, he then is sent back over to galactic space to become a part of the Galactic Empire. And again, you have to read the books if you want to know about Thrawn. You want to learn about how he thinks, how he feels. You have to read the books because there's so many little details in how he goes about dealing with situations that I can't really explain to you without you reading it. But you always have to remember Thrawn will always, always, always put the Ascendancy first. Even if he says, I'm doing this for the Empire, he's doing it for the Empire, for the Ascendancy. The Ascendancy will always come first. And so for him, for Thrawn to help build the First Order is then endangering, again, the Ascendancy. Because Thrawn knew that the Emperor was wanting to expand his reach. He wanted to go past the borders. He wanted to go past the Outer Rim. He wanted to go into the chaos. He wanted to then continue to reach out and take hold of what was after that, because he wasn't happy with just what he already owned. And so for Thrawn to then help create a new war machine that could potentially endanger the Chiss Ascendancy, that would completely go against everything that Thrawn stands for.
Someone just, with a question, tickled this idea. Going back to the Kyle Katarn route, what if, changing his backstory a bit, what if Kyle Katarn is the one that removed Grogu from the temple?
Yeah, that would be interesting.
And
like
then
he
it
was
loops all the way back around.
But again, we have to but why would he be there? He wasn't a Jedi yet. In the canon entry, we just read this.
Oh yeah, that was canon.
In the canon entry, we have to remember. I read the canon entry saying he was a mercenary for the Rebel Alliance, and then he became a Jedi. That is, and that's what's on Wikipedia. That could be completely wrong, but that is the information I'm going off that is officially canon.
It's wild because looking at the time frame, it's like, who the hell would have trained him?
And that's the thing. That's what I'm wondering. Where did he go to become a Jedi after the fall of the Empire? Because the only person who's teaching people how to become a Jedi is Luke. And I would assume Luke would be like, nah, I don't think so, dude. But I could be wrong. Luke is desperate. Luke is trying to build an army, essentially, of Force users. He's trying to build up the new Jedi.
Pocket said, why hasn't Filoni been given full creative control over Star Wars? He's the successor of George Lucas. Mando hits all themes.
He's not. He is not. He is the protege of George Lucas. He is not the predecessor.
Believe it or not, Kathleen is the successor. You all want to think she's a Disney plant? We've talked about it before. She's not. She's OG Lucas.
Go back and watch the behind the scenes for Mando. Go back and look at what she has done with George Lucas. She worked with him on Star Wars. She worked with him on Indiana Jones. She has been with him since pretty damn close to the beginning of his career, and she is his predecessor. She's going to keep going until she retires, and then. But I really feel like Dave Filoni. It is essentially he is the creative director of all things Star Wars. I feel like it would be very silly for them not to run things by him, because he was taught everything that he knows came from George. He originally he was a Star Wars fanboy, but he it's not like that wasn't his first gig. His passion wasn't always Star Wars. But he made it his passion, and George bestowed upon him all the knowledge that came from that he was able to give him. And then I feel like that's why George is still so close to this project, because him and Dave probably share a very strong bond.
We've talked about that before. That's old episodes. Sorry, Anonymous, because I got to get through this. Tim, did you know that Yoda has a last name?
No, stop it. I don't want to hear Yoda lay yee-hoo.
Oh, you know it already. Good. We can move on. Grogu locking himself out of the Force to survive reminds me so much of Cal Kestis. I think that's the point. You're looking at the effects of children that escaped Order 66 and what they did to survive post.
I mean, Ahsoka did the same thing. I mean,
it's emotional trauma being outwardly expressed through suppression of their gift.
It's a preservation mechanic. It seems like it's something that they're taught, because Ahsoka did it, Cal Kestis did it, the Child's done it. They must either it's something that they physically understand just of themselves, the harmonious connection between them and the Force, and they understand that it's not a permanent lock. It's something that they can let go of or untune from. But this that wasn't something that was super special. We've seen people do this before. Luke even talks, they talk about this in episode 8, where it's being unconnected from the Force and reconnecting to it is not unheard of. It's nothing really special now.
It comes from trauma.
I don't think it's trauma though.
It's a survival mechanism post-trauma.
It's a survival mechanism because they understand. It's something that we haven't really learned a lot about, but we know that's there. Is that there is a there is this some type of connection to other Force users that they can feel each other. And in that time, you have to remember, in the time of post episode 3 going into episode 4, you had the Inquisitors, and we had these Force hunters. And so for them to turn off that aura, essentially this energy field that they emit, to turn that off also turns off their connection to the Force. And so like that is the effect, that's the side effect of them suppressing that, is that they start to lose that connection. So I don't like calling it trauma. Like, it is a traumatic event that they've gone through when it comes to like watching like their masters die, or to like see the siege of the Jedi Temple, etc. But I think it's a conscious decision that they're making as to preserve themselves, not as a side effect to trauma.
I disagree. After playing that level with Cal and during Order 66, what that would do to a 12-year-old.
No, I get that, but I don't think them turning off the Force is a byproduct of a traumatic event. I think it's a willingness to do it themselves. So you see something bad, and then your ability to like your
No,
Force
I'm not saying that. You're
off.
saying if I don't do this, that will happen to me.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of trauma as the trauma is the catalyst for them turning.
No,
off.
it's a facilitator,
Okay.
not a catalyst.
Okay, that's okay. Then that was me misunderstanding you.
Wow, Tim, keep up.
Shut up, Kevin. Keep going.
Do we know if Ahsoka knows Obi-Wan survived Order 66? We know Bail knows both survived. Did he even tell her? Possibly Ahsoka in the Obi-Wan series. I have a feeling she'll show up in Obi-Wan at some point. Keep in mind, Obi-Wan is not a series; it's a mini-series, isn't it?
It's a mini-series.
Yeah,
correct.
so don't think you're getting
6 episodes.
17 seasons of Obi-Wan hanging out in the desert.
No,
but
it's going to be. I think they confirmed it was going to be like 6 episodes.
the likelihood of her showing up, I think, is high. Did you see the article that the magistrate was from Dathomir? That crossed my many paths, but nothing has shown up on Wikipedia with a source citing that she's from Dathomir. She doesn't seem like a Night Sister, but who the hell knows?
She doesn't look anything like a Night Sister. She'd have to be pale. And so the only reason why I could see people saying that is because the color of her robes, the dark red and the black. That is the only reason why I would think that you could say that she might have gone to Dathomir at some point, but she's not. She doesn't originate from that planet. Definitely not.
Do you think they could have done to Rosario Dawson's from Kristen what they did to David Prowse, dub the voice to make fans happier? That seems to be the chief complaint. If
It would have been terrible.
it would have been awful if Ahsoka
It
was
would've
wearing a
looked
mask.
So funny.
Yes, but no, any character without a mask, that is you're asking for it.
I don't like it's like it worked out really, really well that like Bo-Katan got to be the same person in animation and in live action. It just worked out perfectly. If you go and look at the person who plays Ahsoka in the cartoon, the voice actors for that, I don't think she would have been physically capable of portraying her character in a live action space. But Rosario Dawson, I think, has the correct build and just the overall, just like the stage presence to portray that character correctly. And I think they did it right. And if people are going to nitpick at that, then yikes.
Anonymous asked, do you think they would tie Thrawn to Gideon as the biggest, baddest villain in the show? I feel like their tactics have similar backgrounds and methods. I think if Thrawn is in The Mandalorian, A, I hope it's played by Lars Mikkelsen. B, I think they're enemies. I think those two are way too strong of personalities in a military that is no longer controlled by a superior being, that those two don't get along.
Yeah, there is there's some hold on, sorry. I went and looked at Taya Sakar, who is the person who plays Ahsoka. Yeah, I don't think she's too small. Anyways, I think that their personalities would clash too hard. Like Thrawn does not like being told what to do. And most definitely Moff Gideon does not like being told what to do. They are two very, very strong-headed people. I and they're both and Moff Gideon is out for personal gain and power when Thrawn is not really. He uses the ability to grasp power and to climb the ladder in order to have security for the ascendancy. That's the whole point of him climbing the scale so quickly and going to becoming a Grand Admiral before anyone else. Yeah, they're two very completely different people. I don't see Moff Gideon working with Thrawn. That wouldn't make sense to me. If anything, I can see them being as enemies, like Kevin said.
Yeah, no, that would be more likely. When Lewis asks, when Mando brings Grogu to the top of the mountain, will it call to Jedi or members of the Sith here through the Force as well? I am sincerely of the mind that while there might be dark Force users out there, the only Sith left is whatever amalgamation of the Emperor's spirit is currently existing. He has no Ben Solo to corrupt yet. Snoke is maybe created by now. That could have been one of the things in the tubes. We don't know. But whatever is housing the Emperor's spirit is the only true Sith in the galaxy. Again, there might be dark Force users out there. I'm not discounting that at all. In fact, I think that's likely between the cults, like Tim said, and all the other possibilities. That's could be. But a true Sith hearing the call, I don't think so. It's also a Jedi temple, and it's a place of light.
It's a Jedi temple. It would be attuned. I think it would be attuned to Jedi. I don't think it's just going to be a general, just neutral signal.
Hey, we're over here. Anybody out there in the Force?
Exactly. Like, I think of it like an encrypted channel. You know.
Is Grogu the only youngling Anakin left alive? No, Cal got away. I'm sure there was more too.
Okay, so it was the only youngling left alive in the Jedi Temple. Correct. Well, that we know of.
Wasn't oh no, Cal was on a ship, right?
He was on a ship. He was on a Venator.
That's true. Yep. With the Beskar spear, Mando now has a weapon to fight Gideon with.
I love the Beskar spear. I think that was so cool, and that person is most definitely correct, because when the Darksaber and the Beskar spear go up against each other, that is going to be sick.
I'll find you a Beskar spear for Christmas. How's that sound?
Oh.
I will.
Is that going to go along with my Mandalorian outfit?
Did you get me an armorer one? How am I going to craft your armor for an entire stream behind you if you did not get me the armor?
I didn't. I'm sorry, I didn't go forge the Beskar.
Slipping. Now that Tython will be shown, can Tim play some SWOTOR before Friday to show it off? Sure, it'll be nothing like the game, but it's neat. It only takes a few hours. Yeah, Tim, do you want to destroy your entire Facebook channel to play as a 10-year-old Star Wars game this week?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Hey, but why don't you play off stream, Tim? You know, that all that time you have to play off stream?
The 3 or 4 hours that I have when I'm not playing video games or doing a podcast
or
having a meeting. Sure, Kevin.
You want to play more video games?
I'm good.
During that time? Would you like to neglect your child to play video games?
Thank you.
Look, I don't even have time to play video games, and I don't stream. I just got to England in Valhalla. Tim's mad at me.
I'm so mad at you, Kevin.
I spent 8 hours collecting treasure in Norway. No, just talking about that. I'm going through them still.
There's more questions? Yeah, chat, you should be like this every week. Holy crap.
Do you think Bo-Katan was recently in touch with Ahsoka, given that she knew her location? I would say if she knew she was on the planet Corvus, then yeah.
And it looks like she just got there not too long ago, so they most definitely must be in touch with each other constantly.
Anonymous said, what if Leia shows up to the temple and make a sample pack with smaller batches of multiple blends of coffee? We tried that, no one bought it. What if Leia shows up to the temple?
No.
Moving along. Thoughts on Mara Jade hearing Grogu's call? It was Zahn's character like Thrawn. Not out of the question. I would put that in the Kyle Katarn, introducing someone from EU for the nerds and bring someone new into canon file.
Who the hell is Mara Jade Skywalker?
Oh my God, Tim. just we're not gonna talk about it.
I'm gonna have to look her up. She doesn't have a canon.
No. But enjoy that journey. That is Luke's lava. That is the mother of Jason and Jaina Solo.
I'm not going down that rabbit hole.
No, read it. It's good shit. Do you think Ezra?
Don't Google image search her. Holy crap!
Is it just porn?
You want to see some Star Wars porn?
Oh my god, you horny bastards!
Oh my god, I just went down. All right,
got to purge your work computer now.
Go along, keep going. Move
Do you
along.
think Thrawn has Ezra locked up and Ahsoka's looking for Thrawn because of that reason?
Sure.
Maybe.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me, but I mean, like, again, I feel like this is a great way for Thrawn to get away from the Imperial grasp. But we'll see.
What about having Starkiller answer the call? Out of all the EU people that would answer the call, he's towards the bottom of my list.
Stop it.
Although it would be really easy to get the actor to be a part of the show.
No.
Has Sam Witwer responded to any of our inquiries of trying to kiss his ass so we could get him to come on Star Wars?
Sam? No.
Chat, tell Raul
Chat, just go
Coley,
hang out just go hang out in one of his Twitch streams.
And both of their Twitch streams. Go hang out in Rahul Kohli's Twitch streams and Sam Witwer's and tell him that Tim and I would love to chit-chat Star Wars with him.
Yeah.
Just saying. Yeah. So on the Force Spirit theory, what if that is the case? It would have to be a dial. No, that's not worth my time. Any chance Grogu doesn't reach out to a Jedi but chooses Mando and no one shows up? I kind of touched on that before, so.
We have talked about that, yes.
We talked about the dark side with Grogu. We talked about Luke Skywalker. We've talked about the Jedi Order being a cult in the past. We talked about Cal. So you're saying Anakin missed one in the temple, Mad Dog said. And that's it. We got him. We did it.
Nice, Kevin.
Yeah, they asked the same question 8 times and didn't look to see if someone else asked it. So
yeah, that sounds about right.
It saved us time. Thanks, guys. Thanks,
chat.
What I do want to do is take a moment before we jump out of here and say thank you to our patrons, who are, I forget what tier this is, and Ben's gonna f***ing kill me because I don't remember what tier it is. I think it's 4 or 5. But that's them right now.
You're up there.
I have Star Wars on the brain. But those are our patrons in whatever tier that Ben has assigned them to that he's going to yell at me afterwards for not remembering. And Respect, thank you for 13 months. Chubbs, thank you for 2. Anime Wolf, thank you for 6. Jiro, thank you for 33. And Phoenix, thank you for 5. Notorious, thank you for 2. Thank you so much for supporting Rare Job. We, as much as we joke, we sincerely appreciate all of it. Facebook, we're trying to get you guys monetization options. I'm working actively every day.
You can just become a patron. That's actually the easiest thing for you to do. If you guys would like to support, if you guys are over on Facebook, or you're listening to us on audio, or you're on Twitch and you want to either support us, in a different way, or you feel like it's more than just a $4.99. You like the content that we do. You want to see more of it. We do have different tiers. It does come with different perks. So you can just go to patreon.com/raredrop. Check that out. It is still a work in progress. It's still in development. So a couple bumps here and there. But it is something that we are very passionate about and that we want to do for you guys because you guys do so much for us.
I put a Bloody Mary recipe in there on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to do some workout videos so the whole idea is that we're putting up some content up there behind the scenes or stuff that we don't want to put up on Twitter or on Instagram, but a fun thing to share with you guys, kind of just give you a little bit more behind the scenes or just more to our day-to-day stuff. So
just take your
trying to figure out some stuff. Yeah, I mean, essentially, like I feel like it just might turn into an OnlyFans. Who knows?
Yeah, just take your shirt off. It's fine. That's all they want. And before we go, Pocket says, what supports Rare Job better, Patreon or Twitch? It's really how you want to support. It doesn't matter, whatever you want to do. If you want to get the Twitch benefits, go for the Twitch. If you see stuff on Patreon that you're more interested in, go for Patreon. If you want to do both, we sincerely thank you. It's up to you. We're never going to tell you how to support us. We love the fact that
give you those options.
Yeah, but we'll give you as many options as we can. But yeah, patreon.com/rarejob, kingscoastcoffee.com, fb.gg/darkness429 without the fucking.
Well,
Go see him tomorrow as he slays noobs. I was watching today while you pwned some noobs. Actually, you got killed. You came in 4th.
There's a hacker in the game.
You were yelling. That's all I know. And I'm Kevin. If you guys don't know who I am the CEO of Rare Job. So my day-to-day is the company and the shows and the entertainment and the production and all the stuff we do behind the scenes that nobody has any knowledge of because that's what's currently paying our bills. But thank you for your support. You've been watching Star Wars and Scotch. You've been listening to it. We appreciate it. If you want more episodes of it, you can go to raredrop.co and click that podcast button and go over to Star Wars and Scotch. YouTube, the whole 9 yards. We appreciate you. Chat, we're going to get out of here. But as always, we love you. We thank you. And may the Force always be with you.
That's good. I like that.